Hola, hola. My name is Adriana Alejandre. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist here in the state of California, and we are back with another episode. So, today we are going to explore the intersectionality of mental health, identity, and healing when it comes to acculturation stress and first gens. And we'll sprinkle in some other stuff as well. I'm really excited to introduce to you our guest for today. And like always, I have my notes because my guests do a lot of different things. This is a colega of mine. Patricia Alvarado is a dually licensed psychotherapist, and we will clear up the acronyms on the screen. She is a certified EMDR therapist and an EMDRIA approved consultant with over a decade of experience in trauma, crisis intervention, and community mental health. She practices in both California and New York. She holds a master's in counseling from Loyola Marymount and University and a dual bachelor's in sociology and women's studies from UC Santa Barbara. Go Gauchos! As the founder and clinical director of Alvarado Therapy in Los Angeles, she uses psychodynamic, multicultural, and trauma informed approaches that do integrate EMDR, CBT, and solution focused therapies to support adults that face PTSD, complex trauma, anxiety, depression, grief, among many other mental health conditions. She's a frequent speaker and author, and she shares insights with wide audiences. You can follow her at Alvarado Therapy. And let's go ahead and bring in Patricia. Welcome.
Hello, hello. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's been a long time coming, and I know a lot of folks love to learn from you. And so it's quite an honor to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really, really happy to be here. I apologize. I'm a little sick today, but we're gonna get through it. So I'm really happy to be here and share.
We'll go at Patricia's pace. So, Patricia, the first question that we have for you is, how does incorporating culture, spirituality, or family values shift the therapeutic experience for clients from what you've noticed?
hmm From what I've noticed is that it's really shifted the way that clients are able to connect with us because they feel really seen, heard, and understood. One of the biggest things that I hear when clients come into therapy is that they really want somebody that can understand them, can understand their cultural background. And so that's something that we bring in at full force, I feel, within our work to ensure that everybody feels heard, that everything that they're sharing, um, we can really show them that everything truly matters. Every single part of them when it comes to family, language, religion, the holistic traditions that they might have, all of those things really help us be able to address some of the reasons why they might find themselves in therapy. So it really helps clients feel really connected and just kind of like understood in general when it comes to the work that we're doing, the really powerful and deep work that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And like always, everybody just don't mind what I'm doing in the back with the text. It comes out really big at first. Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that, and I wish that in graduate school we were taught as therapists to talk more and integrate more of these questions. So I know that many of us integrate it now into our intake forms, so that from the start, people can see that those parts, those identities, the intersectionality of who they are is something that will be integrated in the therapeutic space. And for myself as a client as well, it's something that makes me feel more understood, as you were mentioning. So
Absolutely.
it, spirituality, culture, family values, and just community values as well. It all matters and goes a long way in how we feel connected with the provider and within ourselves as well.
Yeah, I really think that it helps us be able to show up in an authentic way without
Hmm.
feeling like we have to like take care of our therapist
Yeah.
or explain things. And so that I think goes a really long way as well.
Absolutely. And so, what are some culturally grounded ways that people can build resilience, especially these days? So, given that we have all of these identities, intersectionalities, within us in society, internally and externally, and all of these parts of us are being kind of, especially within our cultures and community, being attacked in this political climate.
Yeah.
So how would you recommend going about building resilience during these challenging times?
Yeah, I think right now more than ever is not being silent and being able to share what it is that you're experiencing in community. It's really challenging when we go through these things by ourselves, when we are hearing all of these things and just kind of trying to move forward, push through. That's when we feel even more sadness, isolation, feeling very, very powerless and helpless. And so, if we're able to lean into community, I think that goes such a long way. And you don't really have to like go anywhere per se, but even finding like minded people on social media, talking to your family or friends that might share similar experiences as you, or might be feeling a lot of the same things. Being able to not be alone during these moments and leaning into community is really, really important. Not only that, but also telling stories, like share stories about your experiences, share stories about what you wish things were, how you want them to be. Um, Even manifesting how they can be, I think is so, so powerful. Because again, if we're going to be going through these things alone, we're going to have a really hard time. We're going to find it so challenging. The other part also is, if religion or spirituality is something that's really important to you, lean into these spaces as well. Because these places, there's a good chance that in the past they've brought you comfort. And so in moments of distress right now, they can also bring you that same amount of comfort. I think that more than anything right now, not being alone is a lot more powerful than what you might think. You might realize that there's a lot of people that are out there that really share some of the same things, some of the same difficulties, stressors as you, and that can really help you feel seen, heard, and understood right now.
Yeah, and I find that another way to build resilience is through balance. I think that balance is something at the foundation of all of these things that we're hearing Patricia mention, and things that are going on in our day-to-day lives. So let's take for example scrolling on social media, which is something so common these days among various ages. If we don't have balance as to how much we are consuming and what we are consuming, you're going to see that your mental health is going to be more impacted. You're not going to feel that resilient nature that you definitely have. You're going to likely see a spike in hopelessness if you're witnessing a lot of challenging material online. And so that's just one example, but balance, making sure that you're not overdoing it in one area and that you're integrating joy as well in order to build this resilience. And along with joy, we can't neglect rest, right? And all of these things are really subjective, so we can't tell you, a fine blueprint to as to what to follow. It's really going to depend as to your own needs, your
Mhm.
lifestyle, like how demanding. Patricia and I were just talking before offline. Her lifestyle's a little bit different than mine because of the ages of our little ones. Mine is
Mhm.
15 and hers is under
3.
5.
Yeah,
So
he's 3.
3. So he's 3. And so all of that is important. And again, this is part of our intersectional identities
Yeah.
that play into our resiliency too.
I really like that you brought that up because it's true. Like another piece of this is using the do not disturb without any shame around that. Because with what you're sharing about the overconsumption of news and just videos, media that we're constantly kind of having in our face all the time, it's really important to be able to find like that balance, like you said. And do not disturb. Even for myself, I after 5 o'clock, I put kind of like a little bit of a stop on my phone because that's when my toddler's home, and so now it's family time. So 5 o'clock, I try to avoid my phone as much as possible because if I don't, then he's like I'm getting probably stressed out because of the things that I'm seeing, and then he's like, "Hello, I need your attention." So allowing yourself to consume what you need to, but also noticing when you need to put it down or using do not disturb are really great ways to put some boundaries between you and everything else that's going on in the world.
Yeah, and that word, boundaries. Boundaries is a way to find this balance, and there's different forms of boundaries, and we could probably have a whole separate segment as to the different types of boundaries. But I really recommend, as an action item for folks right now, to look up different types of boundaries that exist.
Hmm.
And you'll find that digital boundaries are one of them. There's spiritual boundaries, there's physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, etc. So, kind of do an inventory of what is imbalanced in your life and what is within your means, your energetic means to be able to find balance in those areas. And again, it's all going to depend. But from what you mentioned, Patricia, something that is really important is to not do this alone and to have these conversations, normalize these platicas, these topics with your loved ones, people that you trust, and ask them, like, hey, what kind of boundary are you implementing this season? What kind of boundary are you implementing regarding the raids that we are witnessing, regarding politics? Just normalize these conversations again with people that you trust and that love you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That more than anything, so that you feel safe having these conversations or just
Okay.
bringing up these topics in general.
Yeah. So as we merge out, Patricia, one final question is in regards to first gens and immigrant communities. What should first gens or immigrant communities know about addressing acculturation stress in therapy? And then I'll ask how they could go about finding a therapist that understands that experience. But
Hmm.
yeah, how do they go about addressing acculturation stress in the therapeutic space?
Hmm. Well, the first thing that I just want to remind everybody is that it's real. It's a real thing that we experience because there's a lot that happens when it comes to acculturation and being able to kind of be from here and be from there, and the stressors that come with that, like kind of having multiple identities or identifying with multiple identities. But the other piece also is that you can find somebody, a therapist or a coach, a mental health professional, a mentor, um, that can really, that number one, believes that it's true, that it is valid, that it's real, that can show up for you, that can allow you to have these conversations guilt free, that you can share about how family pressures or being caught between two different cultures actually exists. Therapy can be a really safe space to be able to explore all of these feelings. And usually it's with people that can understand you, that can kind of like quote unquote get it, um, and that can allow you to have these feelings judgment free. This is when we feel the most connected, is when we're able to kind of share all parts of ourselves without feeling like, number one, we have to explain even what we're talking about, but then number two, that we can share it without any judgment, without any guilt or shame. I think in general, first gens and immigrant clients, we already kind of come with a set of guilt or shame, generational trauma that we've lived through, and we definitely don't want to experience that in the therapy room. And so I think one of the biggest pieces is being able to find somebody that you feel connected to, and it might be somebody that shares a similar identity as you. It might be somebody that shares the same language. All of these things matter. And so when you are looking for somebody, kind of interview a few different people. Make sure that they have like the vibe that you're going for, that when you say a certain word, they're like, yep, I totally get it. Because these things matter when we're having these conversations in the room. I'm about to sneeze.
Go for it. No worries. Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's really important, and I find that that's one of the reasons why I did go ahead and create Latinx therapy. It's because I was really frustrated in 2018 with not knowing who to refer to when somebody specifically asking for a Latina therapist, a bilingual therapist, or a Spanish speaking provider. Our cultural identities make sense and they need to be validated. This is all part of culturally affirming care. And, back then, 2018 and prior, even around then, it just wasn't something that was really prioritized. And so I do find that, well, you will see that I wish I could show you when you go to latinxtherapy.com, you will see that we have different filters, and you can find an LGBTQ plus therapist, a therapist based off of their migration background. So are you looking for a DACA therapist, someone that's formally undocumented, someone that is identifies as an immigrant, child of immigrant? There's all sorts of identities: Guatemalan, Mexican, Salvadorian, um, Japanese. We have all sorts of identities that you could filter through. And that will make your experience in therapy a great difference. You'll feel that connection that Patricia and I are talking about. So, with that, I want to go ahead and thank you, Patricia, for your time, your expertise, and the gentleness that you brought to this conversation, with all the information that really makes a difference. I think we have to continue talking about it and integrating it within our knowledge as well. And hopefully, this conversation can encourage you to find a provider that, um, that identifies with you, with your lived experiences. Like Patricia mentioned, please interview,
Mhm.
a variety of them so that you feel like the vibes are good, so that
Yeah.
you get to ask the questions that you think are important. And we do have questions on our website at latinxtherapy.com under frequently asked questions right on the homepage. Patricia, if people want to work with you in California, or New York, clients, where can they reach you? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us at alvaradotherapy.org. Also on Instagram, Alvarado Therapy. You can send me a DM. I will see it. So you're welcome to reach out. We do have an office in Pasadena, California, and also we can work with you virtually throughout California. And then I personally can work with you in the state of New York. So please feel free to reach out so we can explore options to see if one of our therapists can be a good option for you.
Okay, perfect. So that's alvaradotherapy.org. And all of Patricia's information will be in the show notes. Patricia does provide consultations for mental health professionals as well. And like we mentioned in the bio, she is an EMDR consultant and also provides, is a coach, and provides basic training for EMDR. If anyone is interested, please connect with Patricia. So
Yes.
thank you again, everybody, for being here, for watching and sharing this segment as well. Nos
Thank you
vemos.
so much. Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone. Take care.